good afternoon to you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're here at the Elly Spurs Ladies Show, and I'm joined with the fantastic Mia, who's going to be my co-host today. How are you this afternoon, Mia?
Yeah, not too bad, apart from the bad weather.
Yeah, true.
Typical English weather.
Yeah, it's proper English weather. But let's get straight into it, Mia. Like we're going to tackle a few things about what's happening at Spurs currently, and we've got breaking news about one of our players. I can't quite pronounce her name. If you could have a go at it, could you bring that up for us?
Oh, you're going to make me try and say it. I'm going to be like, I'm not very
good. It's one of those names that you're going to get wrong anyway, however hard you try. So, Dermot, can you bring it up for us? That's it. Well, I'll read it for you. Tottenham Hotspur ladies forward. You go at that one. Kioma, is it? Kioma Ubugaku? Yeah. She's a very good player, by the way. But she's been slapped with a 9-month suspension for an anti-doping violation, which is something that we've got to really talk about, because that's a big strike against her, and it could even end her career in one respect, because if she's been given a 9-month ban, and she's quite old as well. She's actually quite old. I think she's in her late 20s. So. Yeah, I feel sorry for her in a way, because I read, Mia, that it was something like she didn't know about. She took something that had something else in, and they've obviously found it. It's an enhancing drug, so they've actually slapped her with a 9-month ban. What's your take on that?
Yeah, the thing is, it's difficult, isn't it? If they take something and they don't know, but we can't say 100%, only she knows if she took something that she didn't know. So it's a really difficult situation, isn't it, when it's like that? Because she's saying, well, I didn't know, but we don't know that. I just think, why would you do it purposefully, knowing you're getting tested? It's a really silly thing to do nowadays, because they know they're going to get tested.
Yeah, so I know. It's just a shame. She's a very talented footballer, and she's very powerful as well. I don't know if you know her, but she's a very strong-looking lady, and we need those type of players in our team, and she's quite skillful as well, and she offers a lot to the team. So it's going to be a big loss for us. The thing is, you don't know what to say, because you feel sorry for her in one respect, but you don't know the full story. No one's going to know exactly what happened, only her, and the authorities are going to slap the ban anyway, because they're going to come down hard on these sort of things. They must have asked her a lot of questions before they slapped the ban, you see. So I don't know. I mean, they are strong on these sort of things, so we just got to take it that they've made the right decision, and she's got the right to appeal, so I presume the club will back her, I would presume, and if the appeal is successful, then it will vindicate, I just hope for her sake that it's something that she can overturn. No, what do you think? Do you think that they might be able to overturn it if she didn't know it was in there by the letter of the law?
The thing is, I'm going to say it from like what I would think of like a bit of a logical point of view. And logically, how is she going to prove that she didn't know? Because the problem is only she knows that. And to factually prove that she didn't know is proven intent. And only she knows that. And it's going to be so, I think, complicated to try and prove otherwise, that I can't see it being overturned. I'm going to be honest, because it is a very hard one to disprove. If she says, well, I didn't know, then they're going to say, well, can you prove that? And she's going to say, well, I didn't intend to. And they're going to say, well, where's the proof? Like, they want to see evidence. And that's the problem, isn't it?
It's quite damning then, doesn't it, for her career as well? Because I think puts a black mark against you as well, because at the end of the day, I don't think the team would want to be associated with that sort of thing, and the manager especially, you know, it depends on the relationship they've got, you know, and if whether they're on her side in terms of they want to back her, you know, rather than go against the FA or the Football League who have put the ban on her. Yeah, so at the end of the day, you know, you've got to go with their decision. And if she gets it overturned, she gets it overturned. I hope for her sake, though, she does. But moving on, let's go on to better news. Let's go on to better news. Is a fabulous win at Brighton on the weekend. We won 8-0. What a great result. And
what a
the performance,
game.
I know. I mean, I didn't watch it from start to finish because I was up in Chelmsford, but I watched the replay back and I'll watch the highlights as well. Because you know, when you watch the highlights, me, I don't know about you, but it picks out a lot of the things that you might have missed. Yeah, because they really do. You know what I mean by that? Even in the men's game. Yeah, and I was very impressed with a lot of the players. Actually, from 1 to 11, we were fantastic. But there were certain players that stood out. And for me, Ash Neville was fabulous because she was up and down. Her passing was on point. She was strong in the tackle. And she got up and she scored 2 goals as well. And I actually love that player. And I think she deserves an England call-up as well. But that's another thing. What did you think of the performance?
I thought it was brilliant. I didn't watch like you. I didn't get to watch it. So what I did, I watched highlights and I watched. It came up on my Instagram anyway. So I was watching like the goals. So then I watched the highlights as well, and we was absolutely brilliant. We were just on it. Like, and that first some of them goals were beautiful. Oh my! I was watching those goals like mouth open. That was just, some of those goals were beautiful goals.
Brilliant goals. Right, so I agree with you. They're all fabulous goals. Let's get into the chat. Right, so we've got David Clark. He says, if she's the lady signed from Real Madrid, then you rate her far more than I do, Elly. Okay, who are you talking about, though, David Clark? Are you talking about the lady who got the ban, I presume? Yeah. And then Marlon Green says, hey, Elly and Mia W. Any news on when Kit Graham is fit to return? We've missed her badly. I'm sure she actually played. I'm about 80% sure that she's played because I was looking out for her. I'm sure she came on. Anyway. But the thing is, she's had a bad injury. So if she wasn't playing, then I'm sure she did play though. Can you enlighten us on that, Mia? Did you see Kit Graham playing? Because I'm sure I saw her play. But do you know what it is? My eyesight is crap, right? And I was at my daughter watching it, and I'd forgotten my glasses. So yeah, I'm sure she was playing though, Kit Graham. But Marlon, are you saying that she didn't play? Is that right? Just let us know.
I'm trying to think if she played.
I'm trying to get up the news on the team news. I thought she was a sub and she came on. I'm sure that was that. Anyway, let's go to the next comment. She's got another great game from Ashley Neville by Marlon Green. Thank you very much, Marlon. Great back heel assist for Spence. Yeah. Now, Spence is a player that we signed from Chelsea, and she's been a revelation since she signed. She's such a dynamic player. You can tell that she's been in a higher echelon team because she comes with pedigree, you know. And I don't know about you, Mia, but I like the player. What do you know about Drew Spence? Have you been watching her play?
I've watched here and there. Like, sometimes it's really difficult for me with the kids and like to catch all the games. I do watch more, like I watch the highlights, but no, she's a fantastic player. And like you say, the thing is, we've got to understand, as much as it hurts us, the Chelsea and Arsenal women are leading the way because their women's teams are just phenomenal, and you can see that by obviously the England team. So a lot of them are in the England squad. So obviously, they are very, very good players. They are very good. They've invested well. I think it's about investment, Elly. The thing is, we're only starting now with Tottenham's women to invest more and get people going to the stadiums to watch them and like really advertise it a lot more, where because I think that Arsenal and Chelsea have done that for a bit longer, so they've been able to have more money to put into the women's game.
Yeah, of course, because they've been in the top flight for longer, so they've got a more established setup and they've got a more established way of playing. We've just brought in a new manager in the last 2 years, Rhiannon Skinner, and she's taken us from there to there in a short time of space. And she's working with the team really well. Obviously, I don't know if you saw her team talk before the Brighton game, but she said we've all got to work as a team. We've all got to work for one another. And she's creating a really good team spirit. Because with a good team spirit, you can overcome the better teams and get a good result. You know, like we do with the men when we play Man City. We overcome that they're better than us, they're better ballers. You know, so I know we lost to Arsenal 4-0, but I thought we played very tentatively in that game, and we gave them a lot of too much respect. You know, we could have gone at them a bit more. I was a bit disappointed in the way we played against Arsenal. I watched it from start to finish, but the Brighton game I saw about 75% of it, and what I saw I really, really liked, because we were on the front foot from the start, and they all played as a team. And when you do that collectively, it bodes well for the rest of the season. And I can see us doing much better than we did last year. I'm not quite sure whether we can challenge the best 3 teams, because there's Manchester United in the frame as well, because they're top of the league at the moment. They've won all 5 games and they've got the best goal difference. And last year they sort of fouled a little bit towards the end, and then Chelsea came strong, and then Arsenal they just messed up a bit. So yeah, I just think that we've got a lot to look forward to in this team, because we've got some very good technical players. We've got Sadorski at the back, who's fabulous, and then you've got Jessica Nass, who's absolutely skillful. You know, I love watching her. She's a very exciting player to watch. And then Drew Spence is the addition. Unfortunately, we lost Elly Brazil to an ACL injury at the match I just went to at Brisbane Road. She got a really bad injury, and we just bought her from Brighton as well, and she's going to be out for the rest of the season. So it's very sad news. Who are your favourite players, Mia? Who do you think stand out in the team?
I'm like you. I like Neville and Naz. Like they're both like when you watch certain players, you just get that excitement, don't you? Just like, they're just such good players, and you know.
Yeah.
And I just think I was watching, like I watched the Lionesses, and like it's just like I say, it's just lovely to watch the with the female game now. Like it's so lovely to see, and obviously watching your own team, like the Tottenham ladies, is just nice to see us like get progression, because I would like us to be a team that's been like female team that's been spoken about, and our players get into that England squad, because then we can say we're proud that we're part of that too. You know, like it's like we're representing our country, and we've got players that, you know, our squad is playing well in the league as what, like the league.
Yeah, true. And it's the top 3 that qualify for Champions League. So if we can finish top 3, get more money injection into the club. Because when it's like anything, if you make it in the men's Champions League, you bring more money into the club. Same with the women. So obviously we want to get into that top 3, but we want to push on. And I reckon we're a good 2 seasons away before we can actually challenge at the very, very top. And it all depends on investment as well, because like David Clark says, they've spent a small fortune, these teams, Man City, Man United, Arsenal, and Chelsea, and they've been in the top echelons for longer.
But that's what I was going to say. But because they've been in the top echelons for longer, that means they've been getting more money, because obviously being in those competitions get them more money. So therefore they've got the money to spend. So that's what obviously makes it a bit like easier for you to spend that money. It elevates you because you've got that money. True. So we have to get that position to then get the extra money, and then more money can be invested in the squad. It's like a knock-on effect, like you know, it is like the men's game. That knock-on effect of being in certain competitions, it makes a difference with the extra injection of money.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. And
the
we've got
prestige as well.
yeah, very very true. Very well said, Mia. Now we've got Thfc, who's said your BAE had a great press concern. I about fainted. I don't quite make that out. Can you just quickly explain to us, Thfc? Just put that
Yeah,
in, so we can, because I don't know what BAE is. Anybody, do
Bay.
you know, Mia?
Bay is normally someone that you calls like your love, like you call them your bay. So I don't know if that's what he
Right.
means.
Is they're Cincinnati Spurs, Podge. You're from Cincinnati Spurs. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We welcome all the Americans into our channel as well, because at the end of the day, you're gonna be invested in our women's team. It's very, very good, because it's not just the men who play. We do have a women's team to support. Right. So yeah, sorry this was Bay. Love her. Okay. Oh my god. Right, then we got love hearing you. Well done. Yeah, we like that sort of comment. Mia, so what do you think is our sort of goal? Do you think we could push the top three? Should we push a
I
little
think
bit further? Do you
I
think
think
we've got the team to do that?
I think that probably pushing for top three is as far as I can see us, because I think that it's going to be difficult. Like what was said about the money and the other teams, it is going to be hard for us to get into that top three. I do feel
Yeah,
like that it's going to be really
yeah,
tricky. So
yeah.
I'm not entirely sure that we could ever really get any. Like for now, I think it's
Yeah.
going to be hard, but
You think we need
we
to
could
be
do it.
realistic and take stock of what we've got, and then push on maybe for
Yeah,
next year, and maybe push on a bit higher, because it's a stepping stone. Because Rianne
yeah,
Skinner, she's a fabulous coach and she's a fabulous motivator, and with that, we've seen it with Conte in the male team, how his motivation has worked, and his mentality. And she's got the same sort of credentials. She's a very hard, not a hard nut, but she's a very hard woman who doesn't take no prisoners. And I like that in a manager. She wants the best. And when I was
yep,
at the Man City game that we lost 3-0 at Brisbane Road, right after the game, she got them all running, and she got them doing weights and press ups, right? Because she wasn't happy with the performance, because there wasn't enough energy. They've got the skill, the players, but they never applied it, and they never put enough energy into the game, and we lost it. And they were very impressive, Man City, but it was just the two players, actually three players stood out for them, but the main player, Chloe Kelly and Lauren Hebb, and the girl that scored the two goals, I can't quite remember her name, but Lauren Hemp was fabulous. She was the big difference why we lost that game. And if we cut her out of the game, or we marked her a lot stronger than we did and pressed her, we could have put her off her game, because we had a few chances, but we weren't quite clicking. Our passing weren't quite on point. And we do need our players to come back. Like Marlon says, Rhea Percival is a warrior. The sooner she's back, the better off we'll be with her back in the team, which is true, because you need your warrior players. You need your players that fight for the ball. I mean, your take on it, Mia. Do you feel that we've got the right balance between warrior players and skillful players now?
yeah, I do feel like we have. Sorry, I'm just literally in my child's room to
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think we have got a better balance this season. I do feel like that, but I'm still skeptical, like I say, whether we can push for the top three, because we do have those moments, like with City,
Yeah.
like with Arsenal, where we're still sometimes a little bit edgy and we don't
Yeah.
do what we're supposed to do. And I think we need
Yeah.
to get that out of us. So we
Yeah.
have to go every game with no fear. So then
Yeah.
we're not thinking, all this game,
Yeah, I agree with you, because against Arsenal, we were a bit woeful. We didn't even put up a fight, really. We just let them come at us, and they were peppering
Yeah,
our goal. And I was so disappointed, because I thought we're better than that. I really did. I
we
know that
are.
they're better than that. We are. We didn't show
It's, the,
ourselves that
it's,
day.
it's almost like the men's game. We play the
Yeah,
occasion and not the game.
yeah, yeah. I
And
think
that's
they
a
get
shame.
nerves because it's such a big game and they don't want to lose it, and they go out with the intention of putting intensity, and then it just sort of dies a death. But I mean, Arsenal are a very technical team. They will pepper your goal. Even last season when I went to the game at the Hive, we were 1-0 up. We sort of scrambled the goal, and then they sort of peppered us for about 70 minutes. They just peppered us, and they got their equaliser in. I think it was injury time. Yeah, it was nearly injury time. They got the equaliser. So yeah, it's a shame because we should really raise our game against Arsenal because it's the big game of the season,
But
and it's
then
the one game you want to win. You
I
know, you
think
don't want to lose the other games, but you want to beat Arsenal.
the thing is, that's a
Yeah,
mentality thing, that's a mind thing, because
yeah,
that's a mind over matter. Because even if you know
yeah,
that you've got the skill, if your mind, if you're thinking about it so much and you're anxious and you're thinking you're going to play the occasion and not the game, you're never going to
yeah,
win those games. And you have to be you have to be mentally stronger to be able to go out to those games and not let that affect you so much.
yeah. I agree with David Clark. I mean, I don't agree that the best we can do is fifth. I agree with him that we needed a striker, and we did address that by buying Elly Brazil, and then she gets the ACL injury. So how bad luck is that? You know, you buy a striker who's a very, very good striker, technically gifted, fast, really short and nippy, you know, and can score goals, and we've lost her for the team. So we've got Kaya Simon still. Kaya Simon's a very, very good player, strong player. She doesn't score as many goals as she could, but I think I'm looking for a big season this season. Do you know much about Kaya Simon, Mia?
I don't know, like I don't know
Right,
like
she's a
a
South
lot.
African lady. She's a South African lady. I actually spoke to her. She's a very personable lady at the Hive last season. I took a boy who I've been taking to football to an academy, and it was his first time to any football match, which was fantastic for him in terms of watching a match, right? And he's only 13, so you know, and he really did enjoy it, and it was a really good atmosphere. Kaya Simon played very, very well that game. Got her autograph. Spoke to her. She's a lovely lady. She's Australian, not South African. Sorry, I got that wrong. She's Australian. Right. So let's get back into the chat. We've got Carl Simpson. I'm good, thank you. Just wanted to pop in and show my support. Thank you very much, Carl. We appreciate your support. THSC till I die. That's Dermot, obviously. Thank you means a lot, Carl. Yes, it does. We always embody the people in the chat because you're so funny. You make us laugh. Keep them coming. Right, Marlon, 94th minute equaliser. Neville missed the sitter to go 2-0 up. Very true, very true. Kaya Simon is an Aussie international, left-sided, good, skillful player. Yeah, she's sort of left-sided, but she tends to play her more forward. Rianne Skinner, because she's got technical ability. She's very good on the ball. And like you said, Marlon, she's very skillful. Yeah, I like her a lot because she's very committed to the cause and she always gives 100%, which I like. I like that in a player. You know, like on the men's team, I like Højbjerg, so I had to get that one in. Right. So we've got David Clark. The top four have got two top strikers and can even afford to have a striker playing in midfield. That's why they win games scoring power. Very true, David. But you know what? You know, you can do a lot, and I'm sure Mia will agree with this. You can do a lot with team spirit, right? So you can have lesser players in lesser positions, you know, like you might have one striker or two strikers and not one striker who can play in midfield, and you can still do some damage as long as you all apply yourself. What do you think of that, Mia?
No, I completely agree. Sometimes you can have a really skillful player, but if they haven't got the application, they're a bit pointless. Like you have to, I'd rather have a player who's got application and that determination than to have somebody who's got the skill but hasn't got the application or determination. Because I think
Yeah,
that is sometimes, again, it's a mind thing. That's so
yeah,
important sometimes when you play football, because when you watch games sometimes, and we say sometimes the team just wanted it more, and it is the case of that sometimes teams just want it more, and they win games because of that, because they just want it more, they just want to win more than you do. So definitely that can be achieved if you want it more.
Yeah, I agree. Because when we played Man City, right, that was the first game I've been to this season, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how we play against Everton, because they've got quite a talented side. Although they're behind us, you know, they have got some good players, and they've signed a lady called Brannigan, I think her name is. They've signed her. She's an 18-year-old starlet, so we've got to be on our game against them as well. Because there's individual players, if they turn it on, they can actually win you the game. But collectively, I think you win more games if everybody plays to their strength and everybody plays as a team, you know, and they all fight for one another, because you can overcome the better teams. Even though they're more technically gifted than you can actually beat them if you apply yourself, like you said, Mia. You apply it. You don't just go on the pitch and have a mentality that you're going to lose. You go on that pitch to win, win, win. No holds barred. Yeah, because I mean, when I played, I went on there to affect the game. I might not have been the fittest player in terms of getting around the pitch, but when I got the ball, I made sure that I made that killer pass, or I looked at what was on and I made the best pass. You know, you don't make the easy pass, as you say, you know, and that's what I want to see in our team. I want us to apply ourselves, play with heart, play with strength, and also apply all the skills that you've got so that you can overcome the better teams.
That's it. Like, although I know, like, we're talking about the women's team, but that's why I can't really be like, people obviously say about Mora. He hasn't got that end application, but his desire and his love for the team makes me just love the guy. I can't literally be horrible to him, because I love him for just purely for his heart. He's like, the way that he loves the team, the way he's always got that desire, makes me love him. And I think that's it for any player. You're going to love a player and love a team if they've got that desire, because in the game you just want to see them give their all, and that can win you games. It can win you games.
Yeah,
and we've seen it.
Because you know what, Mora gets quite a bad rap, but the games that he's played really, really well in, and he's effective. I remember the game at Manchester United away, when he scored 2 goals. Right, and everybody said he hasn't got an end product, but is that fair? I mean, they look at the stats and it does show that he hasn't got an end product. But when I watch him play, I actually like the way he plays. The only thing I don't like is when he gets his head down and he dribbles and he doesn't look up. Whereas, like Coolidge, if I liken that to a ladies player, I would say Molly Bartrip is a little bit like that. She plays with her head down, but she can affect the game. She can affect the game either through a pre-assist or just the build-up work, because she's quite strong. You know, she'll run with the ball. She's not scared. She's not a player that holds back, which I like. I like players that take the risk.
But sometimes you need that, Ellie, because that can win you a free kick sometimes, because a player won't. If you watch, right, when a player runs at a player like that, the opposition get worried, so they'll make a silly foul, and that can win you a free kick. So that again pushes you up the pitch, gives you an opportunity to get the ball in the box, obviously depending on where it is, if it's direct, indirect. Obviously that's what can happen when you've got a player like that, because they can just run, and sometimes that helps, especially if you're having a difficult game, breaking a team down. Winning that free kick could be your chance to score a goal.
Yeah, true. Because there's lots of ways you can affect the game, like you said, Mia. That, you know, you could do a little run and take a player out, which allows Kane or Sonny to get that space to get the goal. You know, but it's not an assist, because he's actually passed it to somewhere else, and then they've passed it to somewhere else. But he's made the run to take the players out on his side, and he's actually done a clever ball, which led to another clever ball, and then we score, you see. But you don't get credit for that. That doesn't go on the stats, you see. So there's a lot to look at. There's a lot to look at when you're looking at the overall player. But like, I'm looking at the comments. It says, I don't hate Mora, Cole Simpson says. I just think now we need to move to that next level, and Mora isn't productive enough on a regular basis, which
I'm
is
not
true.
trying to, yeah, no, I'm not, listen, I'm not trying to say that obviously that Mora is the one that we, obviously this fantastic, amazing player. I'm just saying that I, personally, I won't be horrible like some of our fans are very quick to turn on players and say they're shit, they're this and that. And they actually don't realise that they do affect the game, and they can come on and do little things. And you might not realise it, but when you actually watch it as a bigger picture, you think, they actually didn't like see with Bournemouth. I thought he did a few little good passes, a good few little dribbles. I was like, actually, I thought he played all right. But people are quick to jump on him. And what I was saying in the comments yesterday is that keep the same energy for every player, because other players that don't play well on games, they get away with it and people don't say nothing. But as soon as it's someone like Mora, they're like, oh, Mora's rubbish. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. No, keep the same energy for every single player. That's what I want, because otherwise that's not fair.
Take a leaf out of his book, isn't it? They can take a leaf out of Mora's book and actually get their butts into action from the first minute. They take 60 minutes to get going, don't they, really?
Exactly. At least Mora cares. At least Mora puts that shirt on and he loves the club. At least he gives a damn, and at least he works for his wages. He doesn't ever come on that pitch and doesn't work for it. Some of those other bums don't. So they're the ones you should be going at. At least he tries. I'd rather someone try than to be some of the other ones that don't even bother.
Yeah, true. I think you should be his PR lady. I'm going to nominate.
Oh, if I get to rub his lovely little bald head, I don't care. I'll be like, come here, Mora. I love him. He's got
a very nice wife that was noticed at the end of season party on the pitch. Anyway, right, let's move on. Let's go to Greg Spurs says, Conte is not defensive-minded at all. He's not a fool to concede buckets of goals, with our champion's backline. I think he's making a quick at our backline then, which is not the best, I must admit. Rob Belcher says, my first time with the ladies show, great content. I watched back the whole Brighton game on Spurs play. Rhian Skinner certainly has up the fitness levels. Yes, and you should have seen her, Rob, after the Man City game. She got them all, like I said, she got them all doing press-ups, running, circuit training, everything. And she never let them go back into the tunnel. And she didn't even let them come and talk to the fans, because she probably thought you don't deserve to talk to the fans because you didn't put enough effort in, and that's why she made that team talk before the Brighton game. It's on Spurs Play as well, which I've got, and I listened to every word she said. She's a fantastic motivator. She got them all psyched up, and they went on that pitch and they won 8-0. You can't ask for more than that. That is a really good reaction to what she said. Work as a team, work for each other, right? Play hard, be fair, but play hard, and really, really affect the game in the way that she knows they can, because they let themselves down against Man City, because we know they can play better, and they showed it against Brighton. All right, yes, they're not as good as Man City, but you can only play what's in front of you, right? So, yeah, I was really impressed with her team talk. I don't know if anybody else in the chat saw it, but if you did, let us know your comments. Right, Mia. So you like motivation, you like people that go on the pitch with mentality. Tell us a little bit more about, why you think that's important.
I just think that it's important to have that drive and that want, because at the end of the day, that's just like what you like. If you want to play well, do well. It's that like winning mentality. Like mentally, you want to be that person and goes on then affects the game. You don't want to be just a passenger in a game. And I think it's so important for all players to go on the pitch with the mentality of, we're going to do this. We're going to be a team, because we all know that teamwork makes the dream work. You have to work as a team, and you have to be strong-minded. You can't be weak. Like, weakness doesn't get you anywhere in life, and especially on the football pitch. You have to be strong. You have to be strong in how you think to go on that pitch and think, yeah, they might be better than us, but we're going to give them a game. And if we lose, at least we left it all out there on the pitch and we gave it our all. And we said, we can say with our hands on our hearts that we gave it our all. And that's probably why she was annoyed at the City game, because she probably didn't feel like they gave it their all. If they gave it their all, I reckon that she wouldn't have been so harsh on them. I think she wouldn't have been as harsh. I think that she would have thought, okay, you gave it your all, but you didn't win. But because they didn't give it their all, she was fuming, understandably, because I would be too. I'd be like, what was you doing on that pitch? Like, what were you doing? So I think it's important.
I'm telling you what, I'm going to send you in with Rhiannon Skinner to do a motivation talk. You'll be fantastic with Mia.
I need to go to the men's team and the women's.
They'll win every single match, I'm telling you.
I need to go to the women's and the men's, Ellie. I need to go to both, give them both a good talking to.
All you have to do is just put Højbjerg and Romero in one corner. You say, all right, boys, we know you're safe. We don't have to talk to you.
I would say... No, I say to them, listen, boys, if you want a nice massage afterwards, do well on the pitch, yeah? I'm good. I'm a good massage. I'm a good masseuse, so don't worry.
Yeah, like good kneading around the head and not so much around the nether regions.
I was going to say, not so much around their head, but okay.
Yeah, we'll keep it clean. We'll keep it clean. Right. So we are women at the end of the day. Right. So we've got Carl Simpson said, I agree, Mia. Most of the team can be dug out this season. 90% of the season, Son has been rubbish. And apart from the goals, Kane hasn't done much. And don't get me started on the defence. True.
I just feel like, Ellie, honestly, like, I feel like people give people like passes. So certain players get passes continuously. Like that Man U game, nobody turned up for that Man U game, yet all of it was on, this player and this player. Hold on a second. What about all the other players that didn't bother to turn up? They all didn't turn up. They should all give all the end.
Apart from the Reece, who had the fabulous game.
The Reece was the only one. But to me, always keep the same energy. And I know that I keep coming back to the Kane point, but my point still stands with Kane. If Kane if Kane doesn't play well and he doesn't do well for a certain amount of time, people give him a pass. He hasn't turned up in certain big games. He hasn't, but people give him a pass continuously. To me, every player is under the same, for me, board. Like, to me, if you don't do well, you're going to get criticised. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Kane. I don't care if you're Sonny. I will criticise you because I don't give nobody a pass. Nobody deserves a pass.
I agree with you. I think if Kane hadn't scored the goals that he'd scored, I think he would have been vilified, because at the end of the day, right, he's not been performing to his level. Now, he's been doing certain little clicks here and there in matches and affecting games, but not like we know Kane can. He's not on point yet. I mean, last season, I think they did 30 odd, was it 30 something assists between them? 32, 33 assists between Sonny and Kane. And Sonny scored 23 goals, I believe, and I think Kane got 17 or 18. Now, that is top draw for two strikers. Even Kane was behind because he'd started the season really poorly. Right, and then he picked up after Conte came in. Really, he wasn't really firing on all cylinders. The only came up and think of where he really played well was that Liverpool match at home when we drew 2-2.
Well,
I get your point. I get your point that he does tend to not. I wouldn't say go missing. I would say he doesn't play to his full potential. Because he's still
And don't get me wrong, right? People think that I'm having a go just at Kane, and I don't rate Kane, because I do rate Kane a lot. So that's why my expectations for the whole team is to give your very best. And if you don't give your very best, I don't care who you are in the team, what position you play. I don't care. I will criticise you because you're not giving your best. And he threw a tantrum because he couldn't go to City, and he wasn't playing because he didn't go to City, and he threw a bit of a tantrum about it. And I don't think that's acceptable, Elly. I'm sorry, but that's not. You're paid to be in our club. Now pull your socks up, put your big boy pants on, and just play your game, because that's what you're paid for. I'm sorry, I don't give a damn.
I know what you mean. I know. No, I agree with you. Because I was at the Man United game where we lost 3-0, and I just remember the crowd were getting on his case, and he could hear them. They were basically calling him all sorts of names. And these are loyal Kane fans as well. The ones that normally cheer for him, but they could see there was something wrong. There was something inherently wrong with his play. He wasn't pulling his weight. He was disinterested. You could see it. But I would always cheer on the player to try and encourage him. You know, there's certain players, they can have a dip in form because they're not as good as Kane, right? But Kane, he's got that ability to take our team to the very top of the league. We've seen it. We've been top of the league 3 or 4 times in the last 3 or 4 seasons, but then we've dropped down. And it's usually because our star players are not pulling their weight. But last season, they sort of, Son and Kane pulled us through, and then we introduced Kulu and Bentancur. But same with the women's game, right? We rely on 2 major players. We've got Drew Spence now, who's just joined the team. Kit Graham, who's fabulous, and then the other one is I would say Ash Neville, but also Jessica Naz, because she can affect a game. She's got all the skill set to affect the game. Sometimes she'll go missing in the game. Sometimes I watch her and I think, where is she? A bit like, you know, when we used, I don't know, maybe not old enough to remember Glenn Hoddle days. He would go missing and you'd think, where's Hoddle? And then suddenly he'll do a fantastic pass and it'll like get the crowd going, because you'll think, what a brilliant pass. And that's the same as Jessica Nat. She can do things that other players can't do. Whereas like someone like Ash Neville, she's solid. She'll give you 100%. She'll never let you down. You know, even when we've lost 4-0 to Arsenal, I could see she had the most intensity in the game. And I admire her for that. And when I was at the Man City game, I cheered her and she heard me and she went like that. Thank you. Because I love her as a player. I like players who commit their soul to the badge, to the soul, our badge, Spurs badge, you know, and they play with all their heart and all their spirit, and they use every single ounce of their being and their skill set to affect a game, you know. That's what I like to see. I mean, do you agree, Mia? Do you feel that, you know, there's some players, they do get a pass because they have got the ability?
I think what I'm trying to say is that I wouldn't be calling any player names, because I don't believe in that. I think that you shouldn't be doing that. I think that's a really like childish thing to do. At the end of the day, you want your players to obviously hear that you're cheering them on. However, I think that what I'm trying to say is that no player is beyond criticism. I think that every player, if they don't play well, it doesn't matter who they are, I will criticise them. But I wouldn't boo at a match, and I wouldn't boo a player at a match, because I don't believe that's the correct way to behave. I think there are players and we shouldn't boo them like that. And I don't think calling names, I think it's pathetic and childish to start calling players names. You know, I don't like it, and I will never agree with it. So to me, I think it's like more about you're allowed to criticise players. I think it's fine to criticise players. I don't think it's a big deal if you criticise players, even if they're players that are ones that have got us out of a rut before, etc. I think we are still allowed to criticise them, and I think they should be criticised if they don't play well. And I don't have any, you know.
So we're fans, we pay our money, we've got a right to say who we didn't like because they didn't pull their weight, you know, and they didn't affect the game like we know they can affect the game and win us the match, and we've lost them, come off the pitch and we've lost the game. So in the ladies' game, right, I've never ever seen booing. I like you get an occasional fan who will say something detrimental against the player because they think that player's shirking their responsibilities. But I've never heard booing at half time, because I think we were 3-0 down against Arsenal, and then not one Spurs fan in the crowd, because I was watching it, they weren't booing. They were actually cheering the team on and clapping to, to inspire the team to do better, because it was a big game against Arsenal and we bloody lost 4-0. So let's get back to the chat. We've got Elly, agree about Naz. This is Marlon Green. She has so much ability, but does go missing. Yeah, that's what do you know what? I really love her as a player, because she reminds me of me a bit, but I mean, I think I would say, yeah, she's on a par with me in terms of skill, but I think I applied myself more and I wouldn't go missing. I would really battle for the team. But I'm not saying she doesn't battle for the team. She probably does. She does in a lot of matches that I've seen her in. But then sometimes she'll go missing and you'll think, where is she? Where is she? Come into the match again. Because she's the one player who can get you out of a pickle, because she's got a fantastic skill set. And Joseph Monaghan says, I agree, Mia. Well done. And then we've got THS till I die with the ladies' side.
I just want to add to that question, Elly. Just think.
Yeah, go on. Yeah. Hello, Dermot. Welcome.
I just popping on for 2 seconds. I shouldn't interrupt. Yeah. I apologise, Elly.
Yeah, no problem.
Next point. Look,
yeah.
The women's side have been more successful than the men's side.
Yes,
since 20, I think 14, 15. The women's side have done the treble, the double. I think the double twice. I think, if I'm right, Elly, in
the lower league, they have. Yeah,
it shows that we're more successful than they've been more successful, and I think it's great. I think it's great for the women's team.
It is
think it's great for the women's league. And I think it's just Spurs are just doing a fantastic job on the ladies' side. So I'll let you get back to it. I just wanted to get my point across. I'm now going back to
you're welcome, Dermot. Anytime you want to pop in, you can pop in. You're one of the girls now.
I thought that you were going to come on and have a go at me about what I said about Kane. I was waiting for you to come and have a go.
Yeah, no, you need Dave Harris coming on that one. It's a Kildare. There's a rumbling.
It's rumbling from Kildare. It's rumbling from Kildare. No, it's okay. He's all right. Listen, I'll put her off now. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, put that in the context of what you were saying, Elly, that the women's side have been more successful than the men's side.
Yeah, they just have to do it. They just have to do it in the top league. There's 12 teams competing. So if we finish 5th, that's like nearly halfway. But I want us to push up. I want us to push up and get to that 3rd place at least this year. But it's going to be tough. But if we apply ourselves, Mia, we can do it. Now, Marlon says, Elly, Naz is so fast, but she needs to affect the game more. She needs to want and demand the ball more often. Very true. Rob Belcher, Dermot, your hair looks fine. Yeah, it does. He's combed it today as well, I think. Right, Vincent Frankenstein, what a fantastic name. Club over the individuals every time. Very true. You've got to play for your club. You've got to love your club. When a player comes to Spurs, they've got to be told about our history. They've got to be told that they shouldn't buy a red car, for example. They've got to be told that, we want to beat Arsenal. It's a priority to beat Arsenal every year, but to obviously finish above them, and as well, we want to take a title off them as well. Like if it's this season, because it can happen. If we play to our abilities, we can push. We're 5th place at the moment. We're really nicely poised. If we beat Everton, Mia, we can go. Depending on the other results, we can go 3rd. And we can push up. And then if we get that confidence in football is very, very important. Wouldn't you agree, Mia?
Yeah, absolutely. So I went on mute because my dog keeps barking. Bad Aussie. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think confidence is everything, because that's another thing that obviously when you go on the pitch, if you're feeling confident, you can feel like you're invincible, like you are going to win. You have that mindset is like, we're winning at the moment and we're going to go on the pitch and we're going to win again. So definitely mindset of the like winning is so important. And even if you do lose, picking yourself back up again is really important. So if you lose a game, you have to pick up yourself, brush yourself off and go again, and that's important. Like as I said about mentality, you have to have a strong mindset, and that's all elite sports people have to have a strong mindset. If you think in the past of teams that have won football, tennis players that have won games, you know, finals, you have to have that strong mindset to do it. You have to. In sports, elite sport, you can't be weak and think to yourself, oh, we've lost this game, oh, never, oh, be like a sad sap. You have to get up and get on with it. So it is important. Mindset is everything with the game, 100%.
Yeah, you can achieve so much with mindset. You just apply it. Like if you look at your job, what jobs that you've done, Mia, I'm sure there's jobs where you've had a really if either you're a manager or you're a supervisor or you're just part of the team. If you've got somebody who's motivating you and pushing you to do better and better and go into work each day, because a footballer, the pitch is their workplace, right? They've got to go onto that pitch and apply their skills, apply everything they've got, put every ounce of their being into winning that match. And if you come off and you've lost, at least you can say, I did my utmost to win that match, but the other team just were like maybe more skillful than us, and they got a goal and they got the win, right? But if you go on that pitch and you drop your mindset and you drop the brain power to go on that pitch and think, I'm better than him, I'm going to win this match. By hook or by crook, I'm going to win, all right? You've got every single chance to get those 3 points, right, and bag them. And then go on, and it gives confidence as well. Because when you've played really, really well and you've won, but if you've played quite badly, but you've all played as a team, but you've played badly as a team, but you still won. You can still come off the pitch, with a good mindset, because you think, look, we didn't apply ourselves today. We've got to be better for the next match, and we're going to win it even more convincingly. We just scraped through, like the Spurs team do, the men's team doing. They're winning ugly, aren't they? They're not winning with any style. They're not winning with any vigor. Yeah, so you can draw strength from that, because you can still stay in contention. But if you go on that pitch and you apply yourself and you win with style, I'm from old school. I like to win in style. I don't like to win ugly, to tell you the truth. But it's still 3 points at the end of the day. So you've got the same result. So what do you think of that, Mia? Do you feel that you want to play with style, either the men or the women? We'll concentrate on the women because we want to push our show to the women. So if they go on and they win, they've won ugly, or they go on and win and they win with style.
Win's a win to me. I think a win's a win. And any win is a good thing, is a positive, because you can pick apart. If you win ugly, you can pick it apart and say, we can do better here, we can do better there, but we still won it because we came together as a collective and we weren't going to be defeated. I shall not be defeated. That's what the mentality should be at every single game. We will not be defeated. And even if you are, like I said earlier, at least you know you gave it your all. You gave 100%, because that is what you need to give every single time you step onto that pitch. You cross that line and you give 100%. That's what you should do. So it is important to have that and to work as a team. And even if you win ugly, like I say, you can just say, yeah, we could have done better here and there, but we came together as a collective. We didn't give up. We refused to give up, and we got it done.
Yeah, you got the job done at the end of the day, and you still bagged the 3 points. I know what I said about, like, I'm from old school. I watched the back end of Bill Nicholson's side, because I was only young. I wasn't really old enough to be able to comment. you know, and really give positive feedback about how we're playing. But I watch back on YouTube, I watch all the old games, and I love the way that we play free-flowing football, attractive football, you know, really exciting to watch, gets you bum off your seat. You know, I mean, in those days you stood, so there wasn't no bum on the seat. But what I'm saying, you can apply that to the modern game, right? If you win ugly, yeah, you've got the 3 points and you can learn. Where did we go wrong? Why did we do this? Why did we do that? And tear it apart, and then don't make the same mistakes, so you actually win convincingly rather than ugly, you know, and work on the weaknesses in your team, right? And also work on the weakness of your mentality. When you went out there, you didn't play to the best of your ability, yeah? So next game, you put that right as a collective, not just individually, yeah? Okay, let's see what else is in the comments. I've got David Clark. I was an industrial electrician for 50 years. Enjoyed every minute. Well done, David. That's a perfect job. I love electricians. You do a grand job. Right. Carl Simpson saying easy for all teams at Tottenham. Give their all at 100%. We will win something. All about mentality. Very, very true. Just you're echoing what Mia said about mentality. So thank you very much for that brilliant comment, Carl. David Clark, my skill beats your desire 8 times out of 10. I don't know what you mean by that, David, so we'll keep that one undercover. Right, David Clark again. While Conte's at our club, we won't win in style. Our ladies are, all our girls have to play at 7 out of 10 every game to win. What do you think of that, Mia, that we just have to go at 7 out of 10 to win, the ladies' team? I'll let you tackle that one.
I don't know. Like, I'd like to see every player give 10 out of 10. If I'm honest, like, yeah. I don't want no 7 out of 10s. I want 10 out of 10s. I don't know why. Like, your standards might be lower, but mine, I've got high standards. I want 10 out of 10 every time.
Yeah, I'll back you on that one. I don't want my player to go out there and give a solid 7. The solid 7's nothing to me, right? I like a 10 out of 10 like you, Mia. When I was playing, I'll go on that pitch to give my best, and that's 10 out of 10.
Do you know me, right? When the boys were younger and it was sports day, I was there wearing the team colour. I'd be cheering them on. I'd say to them, obviously, if you don't win, you don't win, but you give your best, and I will be cheering you on and making sure, because I'm not in it to lose. I'm in it to win it, man. Like, that's what you're in it to win it. Like, no, I'm a bit of like a competitive person, like, as in I want to win. And I want to be a winner.
You just want to win at Tiddly Winks as well, don't you, Mia? You want to win at everything. Monopoly, Tiddly Winks.
I don't let my kids.
You're a winner.
I don't let my kids win stuff. I teach them that we don't always win, so you've got to try harder. I don't even let them win races. I'm like, no, you need to try harder. If you want to beat me, you've got to do better.
Yeah, because you know, when you push somebody and you get more out of them, it's like getting blood out of a stone. You just squeeze to get out the very best that you can out of that player. Like Conte did for Davies last year. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Davies blocking, Davies doing good passing. But this year he's retracted, so we'll give that one a miss.
Yeah, poor reliable Ben. Poor little reliable Ben's not reliable anymore.
That's where mentality, right? Conte's got the right mentality to motivate him. Yeah, he's got long lay pushing him to beat him to that number 3 spot, the left back or the left wing back, whatever you want to call it, left centre back, right? And he hasn't upped his game, which I find really odd. You'd think, I think because he got that contract near, he got the contract done. He think, right, I'm cushy for another 2 or 3 years. I've signed my contract. They're not going to get rid of me. So they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have given him his contract. They should have made him wait. Because now, like, he was playing out of his skin last season. I was very impressed with him. I thought, that's not Davies. That's Conte on the pitch, kicking him up the arse. Yeah. Anyway, right. So Greg Spurs says, for attractive football, we need attractive players. We have a handsome manager. Sexy football will come. I love when jokes come in. It's fabulous. Well done, Greg. You've made me laugh. What do you think of that, Mia? We need sexy football.
We've got some sexy footballers. Romero is very sexy.
That's enough.
Romero, listen, all we need now, I know that he was not a very good keeper, but we just need Gazzaniga back, because Gazzaniga, oh my, he is something else. I used to watch
specimen of a man.
I used to watch all the training videos when to come out. I'm like, oh, just to drool over him. Oh, so nice.
He's nearly Ginola levels, isn't he? He's nearly Ginola levels. So that's saying something.
Do you know what he's got? He's got that beautiful skin and those eyes. They pop out because he's got such lovely tan skin. So his eyes are just beautiful. Oh, my goodness. I follow him on Insta, so I get to see all his pictures, you see.
I know what you mean, Mia. I follow Højbjerg because I like him as a player. I don't really fancy him. But I like him as a player. I think he's a good-looking man. Don't get me wrong. But he's only 26. I'm 60. What am I going to do? No, he's 27 now, sorry. No, I'm not a cradle snatcher. But Romero, I might forget that I'm 60, Mia. You know what I mean?
Well, you know. No, we haven't got the thing about the football is right. What you've got to understand is that we did get some players in, but Conte still has to get his players in. So when he plays with his players, look at his other teams that he's won with. He's played with his players and they're brilliant teams, because it isn't his style of play, it's his players. He has to have those correct players for it to work, and all of the players have to give 100%. There's no time for Davinson Sanchez, who thinks he's a pole dancer. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
or a ballerina, and he falls over once, he's done a 12. You know what I mean?
Honestly,
I don't know what's wrong with that player. Do you think some people said he does it on purpose? I
just don't think he's got a brain. No, like we were saying about brains and stuff, but I just don't think he's got a brain in there. I think if he shakes his head, it just makes a little rattling sound.
Yeah, he plays really well for Colombia. I've watched him for Colombia. He's better, but I wouldn't say he's like a star player.
Not at all.
He defends better. I think probably they've got a better defensive setup in Colombia, because we've got Diane. The only saving grace in our defence is Romero. And one other thing I want to pick up on. I mean, we've got the Ladies World Cup that's taking place in Australia. We've got the Men's World Cup coming up very soon. Do you think this break for men and the women is going to be a blessing in disguise, or do you think it's going to hamper both our women and our men, or either or?
I think it's going to hamper us. I think that in both women and men, because they're going to be playing games abroad, they're going to have to travel, and you know, like when they come back, and injuries. I'm really concerned. Like, I want all of all the teams that our players are in, they're a big player, so I want all of them to go out early in the competition, even England, because I really don't want to risk Harry Kane. I really am concerned. Like, I'm a bit like, I don't want him to get out injured, although we have got a bit more options once Kulu and Richie's back, because Richie can play in that position because he's naturally actually more of a centre forward. But I'm still concerned about injuries and stuff. And I do think it's going to die. If our players look tired now from playing so many games in October, what are they going to be like when they come back from the World Cup?
I know. And
it's going to be...
There's a conspiracy theory going around that Richarlison is not as injured as first said, right? And the theory is that they want to save him for the World Cup, and he's made a deal with Conte to not play until the World Cup. That's what I heard today. I don't think it's true.
Listen,
I don't think it's
true. You think a player
to make the 26, wouldn't he? Because the squads haven't even been announced yet, have they? They haven't actually chosen the squad yet.
Can you imagine Richarlison trying to make a deal and going up to Conte and saying, "Listen, we'll make a deal"? He would love for him.
Oh no, he'd say, "Get out of my office, you stupid man." He'd kick him up the arse as well.
No, Joe, he wouldn't even be like, "Man," he'd be like, "Little boy, see you, little boy. Jog on, boy.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I don't think so.
Jog on, little boy.
Yeah, he would have
Looking for a Brazilian slap.
He'd give him a little whack around the back of the head and then like clip his heels and stuff and be like, "Bog on, get lost."
I got back my office, you little son. Yeah.
That's
Sorry
what I'm
about the
saying.
scary, guys. Right, so we'll get back to the chat, Mia. Do you want to read a few, Mia? Read a few for us. Starting with David Clark at the top. Can you see them?
No,
I'm presuming you
put
can
them up.
see them, yeah?
Yeah, if you put them up. You want 10
Yeah.
out of 10, but you 5 out of 10 at Spurs. I can't even get a chicken and mushroom pie. So Spurs catering is 2 out of 10.
Very true, very true. I tried to eat the sausage roll and it was lovely meat, but it was like so crumbly, it went all over me. I thought, I'm not buying one of them again. Nah, 2 out of 10. I agree with you.
I don't eat at the stadium because it's too expensive. I'm not going to spend my bloody money that I've got. I'm spending all my money that I've got just to go and eat some pie that's like £4 or something when it's probably not even that much, you know what I mean, to make it. Crazy prices. I get a cup of tea.
Chicken's the best. Chicken. Yeah.
Oh, and also there was on the way to the stadium when we went, there was people cooking Jamaican food in like a little church or like a little community centre, and that Jamaican food smelled out of this world. I was like, oh my God.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I love a bit of Jamaican food.
There's a jerk chicken and Jamaican place opposite the stadium as well, which is fabulous. I saw Northern Belly in there last season. It was the Norwich. Was it Norwich? Yeah, Norwich game. I was sitting there. Northern Belly walked in to get his jerk chicken.
Oh my God. We've actually, there's not many takeaways around where I live, but we actually do have a Jamaican place, and I'm so thankful because I like to have like a bit of different food because I'm used to living in London where we can have all kinds of food. So yeah, I love a bit of Jamaican food.
Yeah, you can't beat
Greek food.
The Jamaican patty. I love the Jamaican beef patty, and they do it with cheese down my way as well. Yeah,
I like the
Jamaican
lamb ones.
patty. I love all the patties. The lamb one's delicious as well. Anyway, read out the next comment, Mia. See from Carl Simpson.
Same as the Celso quality for Argentina, but it was awful for us. Yeah, it is. That's the thing. They go to their club sometimes. They go to their country and they'll play out of their skin, and then they won't do it for us. It's really strange, thought-wise. I don't understand what their thought process is with it. Why go to Argentina and then play really well and then just play rubbish for your team that you get paid for? Like, it's crazy, and like people are going to slag you off. So I don't know. Sanchez is low on confidence. He came over from Ajax as a great prospect to develop under Poch and looked like he could do something. Then Mourinho came in and told him he targeted him in the Champions League.
Yeah.
No,
true.
I don't know. I've always think that Sanchez has always been a bit of a pole dancer. I've never particularly trusted him as a player. I think he's got speed and he's agile and speedy, but that's about it. He's not a defender. Like, he's not a good defender.
He's an athlete. He's an athlete.
Yeah. Like, you can't deny that he's actually he is a good, like, he can run, he's got agility, he's quite strong, but can he defend? No. What's his job? To defend. If you can't do your job, you'd get the sack. If I did any job, if I did a job and I didn't do it properly, I'll get the sack. So to me, you cannot defend Sanchez. You can't defend him.
You're a chef and you burn everything, you're going to get the sack, aren't you?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like,
he burns everything.
We appreciate your comment, but sorry, you can't defend that pole dancer. Sorry, I'm not having it.
Yeah, that was a monster of an opinion there, wasn't it?
Yeah,
being
not
your
quite agreeing on that one.
Vincent Frankenstein again. He's never been the same since he has been on the chopping block. To be sold multiple times now, it has to affect him. Yeah.
Yeah, but
shape up and play.
At the end of the day, the thing is, Vincent, is he still not getting his wages? He's still getting paid. And what is he paid to do? Be a defender. Do your damn job that you're paid for. Sorry, I don't care. You're being paid.
And actually, a defender, his job is to defend, but he's also to join the play. and actually play the ball to the midfield or the wingers. And he does neither. I think he done one good pass. I've seen him do one good pass against Newcastle. He did it. But other than that, his passing is very poor and he's very tentative on the ball. It's like he's timid. It's like he's shy to do anything, you know, and he can feel the crowd. The crowd get nervous when he gets the ball. And I think that even makes him even more nervous. But you can't blame the crowd because he's got a history of making gaffes and costing us matches.
If you scanned him on an X-ray, it wouldn't say footballer. It wouldn't say footballer. It wouldn't come up as ID the footballer. No, identification, ballet dancer, pole dancer. Definitely not a footballer.
Yeah, right. We've got David Clark. You sound like a high maintainable girl. No, is that to me or to me? I think that's for you, Mia.
Listen, just because I've got standards doesn't mean that I'm high maintenance. I've got standards in my life. I know my worth, and my worth is much more than most men can give me, and that's their problem, not a me problem.
Yeah, and it's worth more than Davidson Sanchez's defending.
Damn right.
Yeah, damn right. There you go. You've got your answer there. Right, so we've got Rob Belcher. I'll let Levy know that you don't rate his pie prices. Okay, please let him know. Tell him to charge a penny for them because that's all they're worth. All right? Oh, Captain Jess is in the house. Well done. Big up Queen Elly and Mia. Thank you very much, Captain Jess. David Clark, read that one, Mia. Fire away.
They don't go on Ryanair, you know. They go on private jet with pillows. I really feel sorry for them players in their early 50s and did 12-hour shifts and then went training. Yeah, of course. Like the players, the thing is, the players now, they live a life of luxury. We can't deny that they have the best of everything. They've got the best trainers, they've got the best food, they've got like private jets. They live a good life, and obviously, they get paid a lot of money. So go and do your job. If you're a defender, bloody defend. If you're a striker, go score the goals. Give 100% because that's what you're paid for. You're a pampered little princess, and you want to have all the good stuff but not play the football. No, you're not an Instagram influencer. You're a footballer. Go and play football. That's what you're paid for.
True. And I heard Graham Roberts, you know the great Graham Roberts, right? He was a fantastic defender, and he played in midfield as well. But when he defended like a real man. You know, he went in for it. He won the ball. He can take out a player. He takes one for the team as well. You know, he'll get a yellow card for the team because he wants to win.
But that's why I kind of like Romero, because he's quite an old-fashioned guy. Like, as in, he wants to. He puts in the challenges. He don't give a damn. He just thinks, I'm going to challenge you, and he goes right through a man. And I'm like, yes, boy, I love it because he hasn't got that pampered princess thing about him. He's like a proper man, not these little ballerinas on the pitch. Like I can't. And Højbjerg's the same. He's like a proper man. I don't want these little ballet dancers on the pitch when they're no, you're a footballer.
They can put in the tackle. We'll send them to do Swan Lake, Mia. They'll be good at that. They'll get 10 out of 10.
Either that, or I can go and do like an army style training with them, because I tell you, they wouldn't want pasta. I'm mean. I'll put them through their paces. I'll be like, no ballet dancing for me.
Get up there, whip.
Yep, right.
Damn right. Well, we've got Greg Spurs saying, David Clark, Poch won't win you nothing, especially with those players. Poch could not even beat Leicester in the title run in much less competitive Prem. Very true. You know what?
True. I'm sorry.
I know. I've got a soft spot for Poch just for that Champions League semi-final win. Other than that, he let us down quite a few times in terms of his team selection and the crucial matches that we needed him to make the right decisions. He made the wrong ones.
I tell you what people do, Ellie. People put the Poch on this pedestal and they hold him up so high, and they forget all the bad times and all the bad decisions that he did make and all the things that happened. Right. So that semi-final wasn't down to Poch. That was down to Mora. Mora took the ball by the horns and won us that game. Right. He didn't. It wasn't nothing to do with Poch's decisions. It was to do with Mora. Right. And we're not going to say that we're going to hold Mora up on a pedestal either for that, but I'm just saying. But people forget that Poch made wrong decisions. He did the wrong thing. He was a bit of a media darling. He didn't want to say anything too much. He was a bit too much like, oh, nicey, and people forget that, and they always lick his backside. And I'm like, why? He didn't win us anything. He did not win us anything.
He didn't get us over the line. The reason why I said I had a soft spot for him because you could see, I agree with you totally, 100%. I've got a little bit of a soft spot for him because of that semi-final, and like dropping to his knees, and he couldn't believe it. I was crying my eyes out. That's the only thing that I can take. That's the only thing I can take, that I had a heart for him. But then when he made all those mistakes, I was actually glad when he got the boot. I was actually glad.
The thing is, you can hold, like, I hold Poch dear to my heart because of this stuff he's done for me, but I don't hold him on this pedestal where he was this perfect, all brilliant, all knowing, all seeing God of a manager, because he wasn't. And if we're going to be truthful, he wasn't. He was a loser because he didn't win. So then he is a loser, and people don't like hearing that. People get upset with me when I say it, and I say, what's the definition of a loser? Someone who didn't win. Did he win? No. So he was a loser for us. So that's the fact.
We want winners at Spurs, don't we? We want winners. That's why we've got CONTE in. Bloody love. We've got a manager who can actually win us something. With a lot of dead wood that he's acquired, he's got rid of a lot with Paratici. He's got he's loaned them all out. Obviously, they're going to come back, but he'll get them out again. Don't you worry, right? He's not going to let them. If they come back, they're going to be training with the under-23s, regardless. And then he'll get them out. He will get them out, and then he'll put his building blocks in with the players that he wants. He's already identified them, and he said to Levy already, I want these two players, that Malinowski and the other one, I can't think of it now, but he's got two players in mind. He's going to bring them in. It's Weston McKennie, right? Because he's a box-to-box midfielder. I personally would like to see Maddison, because I think he can give us the craft and the goals, because Maddison can score goals. If not, I would like that Zaniolo, because he doesn't score as many goals, but he can assist. And he's a very strong player. But I prefer Maddison because he's tried and tested. What's your take on that, Mia?
I don't know about Maddison. I don't know, like, I understand he's tried and tested, but there's something about him sometimes. I'm not entirely sure that he would fit into a Spurs team. I just don't. I don't feel like he's a Spurs kind of player, because I just don't know. He's got a bit more of an arrogance and swag about him that I don't particularly like when it comes to players. And I'm not very keen on him as a person, because it does matter I think it does matter as a person how you are, because you've got to gel in a team, and if you come in and you think you're Billy Big Balls, and like, obviously then that might upset the team, because it'd be a bit like, who are you? And like, you've come into our team, our little gang, and you've got to have people that are going to fit into your little gang. And I think I can't see Maddison doing that for some reason. I can't tell you what it is, but I've got that feeling about him.
I wonder what you guys in the chat think, you guys and girls in the chat think. Do you like Maddison? Do you think he can add anything? Or do you agree with Mia that he's got a bit of a swagger, he won't fit into our team? One thing's for sure, CONTE hasn't identified him as a player that he wants. But let's get back to the ladies' game, because, we're talking about the men. Let's get back to the ladies' game. I want to see our ladies progress and actually win a trophy as well, because trophies create confidence. Trophies create that brilliance around the club. You've won a trophy and you can go on from strength to strength, and it gives you confidence. And I want us to win either a League Cup or an FA Cup. If we can't win the league title, which I think we're just slightly off. I think we might get third or fourth this year, but I think we can win a cup. What do you think, Mia? Do you think if we can get one over the line, because we've won cups in the past at the lower echelons of the football, now we're in the top, Billy Big Boglets, as you call it, we're in the top league. Let's see what we can do. If we can bring that trophy home, it'll be so good for the girls and it'll give them inspiration. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that we have to win something. I think that makes, obviously, like you say, it breeds confidence. It's like a little buzz around the team of we won something, we did this. It's like, and it actually draws you more together as a team and brings you closer as a team because you're a tight-knit unit. You're like, we won this together, you know, and I think it's so important to have that with a team, especially because where we're kind of like, we're working our way up. I think that will give us an extra boost to work up a little bit more up the table, because I think that then they'll think to themselves, we can do this. We can do it when the games are getting tough. It's a hard game. We had to beat so-and-so to get into that final, then to win the final. And I think it gives them that extra boost of winning it. And like I say, and that tight-knit thing with each other, because you're like, we won this together. It makes a really good feeling. It's like a lovely feeling in the to be togetherness.
So let's get Dermot, you're in the background. If you could bring up the league table for us, that'd be very kind. And the results so far, so everybody can see how we're progressing.
He just put a comment in the chat, so if you want to check it, what he said.
Oh yeah, hold on. What's he said? Is it back a bit or is it forward?
No, not in the chat, but in the back.
Oh, in
chat,
our chat.
Our chat.
Oh God, yeah. I'll let me read it. He might be dealing with something that he's. Oh right, he's brought it up. Here we go. So the women, we've got Manchester United at the top, right? It's gone again. We've got Manchester United at the top. They've played 5. They've got full 15 points, which is like awesome. Arsenal the same, Chelsea the same, and then 6 points behind are Man City with us. We're level in points, so we're actually trailing them by 6 points. So what we have to do is catch up those 6 points, which is 2 wins. And our next game is against Everton. So if we win that, that's like a 6-pointer for us because they've got 9 points as well. So we've got to win that match and get 12 points. And then it all depends on other results, you know, how they go. If we're going to stay in contention at that top 4 at least. Yeah,
I think we can contend for it. I think we can be contenders for that top 4, definitely.
Yeah, because we finished 5th last season. We're in 5th so far. If we want to progress, we've got to push on, you know, and try and break to those top 3. It's going to be very difficult because we're already training all of the 3 team 6. But remember, they've got to play each other. Yeah, so we've got to play them. So we've got to win those matches. It's vital that we win those matches against the top teams, because then we can carve down the point deficit. All right? And then the fixtures for this weekend, I don't think I posted to Dermot, but if you can get them up for us, Dermot, we'd really appreciate that. If you can get the fixtures up for the weekend matches for this week, if you can do that for us. If not, I'll just get them up on live score. It's no problem. Also, we want to see a lot of progression in terms of, you know, some teams, right? They get to a certain level, right, and then they trail back. Do you feel that our team, they just haven't got that confidence to push into the top 3 and challenge, or do you feel that they've got the tools now to actually mount a good title challenge?
I still think it's so hard because the other teams are so much ahead of us. I think it's more, I don't think it's about to do with our ability or level. I think it's more that their level is just so high that it's going to be very hard for us to sort of get to that level quickly. We're going to have to take a bit more time possibly to get to that level. So I think that's probably more what it is. I think that's probably more. I think trying to get to the top 4 and getting into that top 4 spot is brilliant. And I think that would be a really good achievement for us, for like us going from 5th to getting up to 4th. But I don't think we're going to be pushing up that high. I'm going to be honest.
All right. So what we'll do, we'll end on that realistic. It's a positive note, because you're saying basically that we can, but it's going to be difficult. All right, because there are teams there that have been more established, and they've sort of cornered the market in terms of that top 3 space. If we can push into it, that'll give us so much confidence going into next season. We strengthen our team in January, we strengthen our team in the summer again, and we go again. All right, so we're going to end on that. Thank you very much for all those people in the chat. It was fabulous. We really enjoyed ourselves, Mia. And then the next show will be next Tuesday at 4 o'clock again. And all I can say is, let's get behind the team. Anybody who can go to the matches, I can meet you at the matches and we'll have a chat. I can do an interview with you as well. So if you do go to the chat, please let me know. WhatsApp me, or just give a note to Dermot that you're going. Thank you, Dermot, for that. That's what we're going to end on. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. And we're going to end on Jessica Nash, Jessica Nash, Jessica Nash, Jessica Nash, Jessica Nash.